Anger is a response to unrealized equity. It is something when we realize that things aren't fair, or when we're thinking that things are just ducky and someone comes along and tells us that we're not being fair. How offensive is that? And anger is often just considered a bad emotion. People say, don't be angry, let's be quiet. But you can't just suppress it. It is something that we do we have to figure out how to use it. That even when we're not angry, we might be in a dormant thing where we're not really feeling anything. And we just kind of might be sensitive to anger. Some of us have a more sensitive trigger than others. And we find ourselves getting mad at someone who forgets to put on their blinker in traffic. And we hear the level of rage that comes out of our mouth, and we say, is that really proportionate to the fact that this person didn't put on their blinker and really was of no danger to me? And that's an indication that maybe there's some rage there about other things besides the occasional missed blinker. And so our sensitivity can kind of tell us that, oh, maybe we get angry a lot about a lot of things. Maybe there's some unfairness that we need to examine. And that day-to-day has those regular frustrations. I mean, like someone not turning on their blinker, you should respond kind of frustrated. Well, that's frustrating. That's annoying. And we get mad, as it's just a standard thing. It's a little bit more intense. And then sometimes we just go off. We're just yelling and everything. And that's the increasingly passionate thing. And one of my favorite bumper stickers is, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. And so sometimes we have to just kind of feel that we need to yell to the world that something's wrong. But then our anger can tip into the uncontrolled area where it's violence, and it's violence in all the ways that Gail described in the domestic violence. But it's just also having that hair trigger to where it goes from being okay to just immediately wanting to hit somebody.
In the first song that we sang, our friend Janet Manetto, who wrote that song, when she performs it, she has a kind of optimism and her underlying spirit of optimism infuses it with a kind of panicking. But when we perform that song, we kind of have that numb space, that place of being so overwhelmed with what the world can do to you that it just flattens you out. And you're just, it's a flat effect. That's what we wanted to portray to you, is that there's so much input from the world that you turn off the news. You just flatten out. You can't take it anymore. Because if you had to really respond to it, you would scream with a volcanic eruption of anger. You don't want to do that, so you shut it out. You shut it out. You don't want to deal with it. One of the ways we found to deal with that anger is to put it into music. To write songs that have that explosion, and it's a safe place to set that anger. So
Yourself while you're chewing it, but you eat yourself while
I guess I'm gonna be angry until I get straight. But I'm not just angry, I'm angry for a reason. I'm not just trying to be somebody looking for a fight. There's a method to my madness, change season, change of address. Habits so ingrained, anger might not break the chain. I've got a little confusion, I howl with pain. I guess I'm gonna be angry until I see a change. Don't tell me about Jesus, tell the other chief. When he destroyed the temple, he was not in me. I'm not just angry, I'm angry for a reason. I'm not just trying to be somebody looking for a fight. There's a method to my madness, change season, change of address. Habits so ingrained, anger might not break the chain. Anger might not break the chain. Anger might not break the chain.
The song by our friend Janet is about sharing our struggle with others who care about us. And we know we all care about each other in this congregation. We show that all the time, the way that we help one another out when we're in trouble, when our house needs a little bit of help. But sometimes we need to just listen to each other without judgment. And we can create a shared space where anger can burn itself out and where we allow solutions to emerge. This song is called Bowl of Cherries. And this is one of my favorites by Janet. Janet I.
So the first step in the process of anger, moving from anger to action, is to realize the rage. And then the second step is to process that anger, which we had in those last three songs about talking with other people and having empathy for one another. And the third step is to connect to values that are larger than yourself. And there's an example in Christianity of how this is done in an area called liberation theology. It's a theology that has emphasized the injustice in the world and even argues that God is on the side of the poor. And they've been tireless advocates for justice. The Gustavo Gutierrez wrote a book in 1971 called A Theology of Liberation and started off this whole movement within the Catholic Church primarily. And Cardinal Ratzinger, who had become Pope Benedict the 16th, disparaged his views. In fact, it wrote a lot against this idea of what the church should be about. It should be about moral issues, not political or socio-economic issues. Well, within 7 months of the resignation of Benedict the 16th, Pope Francis, the new Pope, invited Gutierrez to have an audience at the Vatican. This liberation theology manifests itself in America in a couple of ways. Through James Cone, who wrote For My People, liberation theology in an African American context. This was influential on our president, who, when you hear him quote scriptures, he's often quoting scriptures like that which we do to the least of our brothers is what we should be about, and how we treat our fellow people should be how we would treat Jesus. And this came to him through his infamous preacher, Jeremiah Wright, who, if you want to get a reasoned idea about what Jeremiah Wright was preaching in his services, there's a Bill Moyers that you probably find on YouTube where he interviews Jeremiah Wright, and he really outlines pretty succinctly what liberation theology is about. When I was a Presbyterian and studied to be a Presbyterian minister, I was in that neighborhood where Wright was, and my Presbyterian minister said, I wish our church was like that church because they are in the community and doing good. And then, from the feminist perspective, probably the one that's most influential on me was probably Mary Daly, who had a book published by Beacon Press in 1973. Beacon Press is a Unitarian Universalist publishing house. Go online, buy lots of books. It's good to have a publisher that supports liberal things in the world. They also publish things like the Pentagon Papers and other things throughout the history. So we have our own little radical press that we need to support. But this particular book was called Beyond God the Father, towards a philosophy of women's liberation. And in the first chapter, she pretty much just picks up the low-hanging fruit, saying what's wrong with patriarchy. And then she spends a good chunk of the book talking about what's wrong with feminism that just wishes to replace patriarchy with matriarchy. Because if you just chop off the head and put a new head on something, you still have that whole problem of hierarchical things, of people ordering other people around. And part of that problem gets right down to God. If God's viewed as the top dog, well, then we have a religion that's going to the dogs. She would love that pun, by the way. That's part of my reason she's one of my favorite theologians. But she instead thinks about what if we conceived of God as a verb, not the thing that we worship, but the things that we do that are worthwhile.
It was interesting for me because I was a newly formed atheist, and here I am singing Jah love, Jah rule, Jah, it's Jehovah, y'all. So I'm singing all these songs about God's power moving, the powers that be to be more justice giving and give power to the people. And it was very interesting because somehow we're talking about how God is going to come down and make everything right. And I don't believe God. Right. So, how do I justify this? Because it's got a good beat. But it's rebel music, and it's revolutionary music. And I realized really what it was that it was allowing me to believe that there were powers of some kind. What it really was just allowing me to accept that there could be a sense of spirituality that I could access. And it might not be so much about God as about people feeling infused with the power to make change in their life. And some people have to call it God, and some people can call it something else. But what it really is a
Hey, Christian brothers, and you have brothers and sisters. Hey, Christian brothers, all of these people are oppressed by. Hey, Christian brothers, tell me what you intend to do. Hey, hey, your Jesus is a banker, I can tell. By the way he says your religion's an anchor, and the church will carry the weight. Hey, Christian brothers, you have brothers and sisters. Hey, Christian brothers, all these people are oppressed by. Hey, Christian brothers, tell me what you intend to do.
you call God brother,
Just stay in your place.
you make distinction,
Sex, religion, nation, and race. Hey, Christian brothers, you have brothers and sisters. Hey, Christian brothers, all these people are oppressed by. Hey, Christian brothers, tell me what you intend to do. Hey, 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 land of plenty, while other people barely exist. If they stop complaining, when you call them godless communists. Hey, 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 Christian brothers, hey, Christian brothers, hey, Christian brothers, hey, Christian brothers.
This last song is called Make Yourself. And we all have that power within us to make ourselves. And we cannot begin to change our home, our neighborhoods, our churches, our schools, our world, until we make ourselves. That's where we have to start. Maladjusted to injustice, participating in the power of creation, making yourself whole. Make yourself overcome past. Make yourself live for what you rise. Make yourself learn more than you know. Make yourself. Bob Marley said, the master yourself in mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Break yourself from these bones. Break yourself, throw away the bones. issues